All right, I am here getting ready to demo assignment number one for you, this challenge. So making sure that you know and understand how to follow through with this. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to click on the Google Drawing. This is already prepared for you. If you want, you can click on that and print this out, so that will generate it too. But you can also do this right online using the drawing tools here. In Google Drawings. So we are given the front and the top view, and we need to fill in and draw all of the missing information here in our side view. So I'm going to start out, as I talked about before, since we have the front view, we're going to project everything over into the side view. But before that, I want to make sure everybody is on the same page here and understanding what the relationship is between the front view and the front viewing plane of the isometric view, top view, and the top viewing plane of the isometric view, and so on and so forth. So let me start by drawing some arrows. We will go ahead and indicate those arrows. So there is that arrow. This is the front view. We are also given the top view. So from the top view, so looking down, so there's the top view, and of course the side view is looking this way. Now I put the arrow going the wrong direction, so let me undo that, come back in here, get this back, and let me go back the other way. So I figured out that using this, if you start at the tail and then move forward, that's how it generates the direction of the arrow. So that helps out a lot when we're doing this. So the missing view is this side view right here. And as you look at this, you should recognize the only object lines you're really going to see are the solid object lines here that marks the external boundaries of our view. Everything else in this is going to be hidden because it's hidden behind this viewing plane. So looking directly on, straight on that view, all we see in terms of object lines are the square or the rectangle, whatever this looks to be. So we're going to start out by projecting some lines over from the front view to kind of define what the outside edges of this part will be. So let me change up my line type here, and we will start creating these lines. So first projection line will be here. So the escape out of this, we've got some funky stuff going on. Remember, if you have that happen, just kind of hit the escape button so you get it back, and then you can get into the drawing tool. So, all right, so there's the first hidden line. Now I'm going to come up here and create the second construction line or projection line. So notice this line and that line define the area that this view is going to be between. Now we still need to find some more here on this part. And I'm also going to project over some construction lines from the other intersecting point. So I've got another intersection point right here. So that needs to be moved over. And I got another intersection point here, and that needs to be moved over. So now I came a little bit off on that one, so I'm going to just kind of grab that and try to move that back up, get a little closer, just to be a little bit more accurate there as well. Now, I don't really know exactly for sure where these two edges, incidentally, that corresponds with this edge or corner of the part and this edge or corner of the part yet. But I do have some ways that I can kind of establish that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I can set the edge line reference on the side that is closest facing to the front view, which would be this side here. And since we've kind of been given these little parts here, that kind of gives us an indicator. They want us to draw this here. So I'm going to come back and on those L-shaped brackets. Oh, notice I kind of dropped that and moved it, so not a big deal. Just go back to undo. So escape out of there twice, change to your line. Now I can come back in here and I can draw this up. Now I'm going to project this all the way up above there. And we need to come up with that 45-degree line. So from here, I'm going to project over as well. Now it is at the intersection of these two lines where this line and this line meet. That intersection point is where I'm going to draw my 45-degree line. So let me go ahead, try to eyeball that in, get that 45-degree line put in there. Hit escape a couple of times to kind of get out of that. Move that in so it lines up a little bit closer. All right, now that, and the reason for putting that in there is because it's going to help me establish where that back edge, basically this edge, should fall in on this particular side view. So get back to my line. I'm going to do my construction line over to that 45-degree line. Okay, and at that intersection point, then I will kind of come right down here and project. And notice it does fall in, and we are pretty close there with that, with our 45-degree line. So with that in mind now, I know that I should see this as a rectangle as far as my object lines. So I'll go back in and we will go ahead and fill in these object lines now. So remember, as we do this, our object lines are going to be using a line weight of 4. So we'll put that in. I can come in here, draw that, and draw that. That connects the dots, so to say, there. Let me escape out of that. So that gives me what the object lines are going to be in the right side view. Now we have a couple of other things going on here, so that we've got to kind of get into place. And that's really going to be a hidden line. So we do have these two surfaces, this surface here and that surface there, and they are inclined. And we can tell they're inclined because we can see it here in our isometric. It can't really tell that through that they're inclined from our top view, but we can make some assumptions about it there. And what we do see is this line here. So just to kind of get us into thinking along this line, I'm going to draw that line there, and I'm going to we'll go ahead and we're going to make this a blue line for now. So and I will also draw this line here. Now, those lines are, of course, in the middle of this part where they meet, but how are they going to look over in this view? And you can see clearly I've got a smaller notched out shape over here. I have a larger notched out shape over here on the front face of this there, and that's what we're seeing here. So we're seeing this larger V shape that we see first when we're looking at the front of this part. So there is that V shape right there. And then the back surface of that part, we see the smaller V shape right there. That relates over here in our isometric. So we can see that and tell that. Now, how do we represent that then in the right side view? Well, that line coming over to our top view and looking at hints here, we see that that line really goes from the front surface all the way to the back surface, which means when we do create the line at this point, so we're going to start from there, and it's going to go all the way to this intersection point right there. And that's where that is going to fall in place. Now, I'm going to change the line colors back here. So on that one, we'll change that back to a black line. We'll put this back at 4. And of course, this is going to be a hidden line. So I'm going to change that out and hit escape. And that gives you all the information there that you need to solve what that view should look like. I'm going to take a couple of minutes here just to kind of do this going the opposite direction. So just so you can kind of see the same thing. So we'll even kind of take this off of the paper a little bit. I'm just going to real quick project these lines over. So all of these intersection points. Now it's important to notice that as we move this around, it's going to be a little different. And here I'm going to kind of come through. I'm going to put this pretty close. So I don't want you guys to do this. I'm just kind of showing you to give you an idea. So I'm going to move that close, and we'll do this as the intersection. Again, coming off at a 45-degree line. So this projects over to here, and then I project down from there. So, all right. And again, now we're seeing this. Let's start back out. I now know that this is the front as this is rotated over. This line is going to be from here to there, going the other direction on the other side. Now, let me make a few changes here. Oh, escape out, back this up. Going back in now, we can real quick draw these going this way. Let me change the, there we go. So that other side, I'm going to see the same thing. I'm just kind of going back over my projection lines now that I know where those solid object lines should be. And lastly, this will be here, going that way, and changing this to the hidden line type. So that gives you the view for the right side, the view of what it would look like on the left side. We can, of course, project everything down the same way into the bottom view. So let's go back here now. Let's project this down and project this down. And of course, now this is a little different though, because now we've got to project all of these intersection points. So I'm going to project every single one of these down to determine what this looks like. And I got a little over on that. I'll come back and correct that in just a minute. So making sure that I'm getting all of these lines nice and vertical here. All right, so those are my projection lines. Fix this one so that it's a little more vertical than what I originally drew it. There we go. All right. Now, to do the first edge in that bottom view, doesn't really matter. I can kind of put that anywhere I want. And so I'm going to move that bottom edge, and I'm only going to be about 1/4 of an inch away from here. So let me change this line type too. So there's my bottom, one of the first edges there. I got to create some projection lines again. And at this point, again, it doesn't really matter. I can project this off of either view. So I'm going to project from here over. Now, I'm going to project down from this side view down into that. And from this intersection point is where that 45-degree angle comes off of. So there we go. Now, going back into my lines, I'll project down from this back edge to that 45-degree line. And then I know I can project over from there into that to define what that back edge of my bottom view should be. Oh, now remember, this bottom view that I'm drawing right now would be coming the opposite side of this arrow. So it'd be as though we were looking up at this part from underneath it. And that's what I'm creating here. So let's go ahead. I know that I'm going to have solid object lines from here to here. Go ahead and change my pixels on that, and from here to there, and from here over. Those are going to be solid object lines as well. Now these other lines are going to be hidden, and just like in the top view, I'm going to have the same thing kind of going on, but it's going to be reversed, and they're going to be hidden lines because they're underneath. So this line right here going down is going to be a hidden line. So I'm going to change that. Okay. Now notice I start from here and go back that direction with this. So that means as I project down from here, this line will be from here to there. And this line projecting down is going to be from here to there. And that's what that would look like from the bottom as well. So just to kind of give you an idea of how we can kind of project all the sides of a part just by using these projection lines and construction lines and knowing and understanding how they are related to each other in each view. So hope this helps. If you need to and have some questions, by all means, go ahead and shoot me an email and we will be glad to go through with them. Just to finish up, so once I have this and done, I don't need to worry about anything. I can just close out of that drawing. It's automatically there, ready for me to click turn in, just to be sure. See, this is MHS test student DA. Now, yours is going to have your name on it instead, but I'll just click on that if I wanted to. You can see that everything's still there, so I just have to close that out and click turn it in, and you are good. So that helps you to finish that assignment and get that one done for today. We'll go ahead, like I said, if you have any questions, send me an email.